French brand Yema are back with another edition of their very popular heritage dive watch, the Navy Graph. This new version gets a Swiss movement, however is manufactured in France, so that means you aren't paying the Swiss tariffs. Overall, if you like a vintage style dive watch, you're going to love this watch. So let's take a hands-on look at the Navy Graph Heritage from Yema. So these are the new Heritage Navy Graphs from Yema, and I have both colors to show you guys, blue and black. What they're doing with these, or at least what I think they're trying to do, is provide you with a Swiss movement while assembling them in France, and that is avoiding the Swiss tax, the 39% on US imports right now from Switzerland. So these get a Sellita SW 200 inside, and they are assembled in France. These are very classic, good-looking dive watches, one in blue and one in black. You have somewhat of a satin finish dial on these. Blue gets a blue bezel, black gets a black bezel. Those bezels match their dials perfectly, and in my opinion, they look really good. You have these exclamation point indices on here that are painted on the dial. Those are painted in a creamy colored lume. And then you have yellow hands. So the hands on here are in a yellow tone. They are filled with lume, and we will do a lume shot towards the end so you could see what I'm talking about. A very classic looking dive watch, and those yellow hands do stand out really well against those satin finished dials, the black and the blue. Right below that 12 o'clock index, you have the Yema Y. Then it says Yema, and then it says Navy Graph, which is the name of this watch. Down at the 6 o'clock position, or above the 6 o'clock position, it says automatic 200 meters, because this does get 200 meters of water resistance. You get the date at the 3 o'clock. There's a little surround around that, and it takes part of the place of the 3 o'clock position. And again, all of the indices are lume. I'm not sure if that second hand is lume. We'll take a look at that towards the end of this video. You get a very nice sign crown that is screwed in. There are crown guards, and then you have a screwed in case back. This is around a 39 millimeter watch, depending on where you measure it. If you measure it at the bezel, it comes in just under 39 millimeters. At the case, just over 39 millimeters. And then you have around a 13 millimeter thickness. You do get a very domed Hesalite crystal on here. This is not a sapphire crystal, again, in keeping with that classic look. But you could see when you turn it on its side, it is extremely domed, and it looks fantastic. There's a little bit of distortion when you turn it on its side, and when you're looking straight down, not a lot of distortion, but I think it looks really good. Lug to lug on here is around 45 millimeters if you measure it at the case, but you do get male end links. Well, technically these are female end links that don't fold down. So you can see this is a female end link, but it doesn't really fold down. So the lug to lug is larger than that. It comes in at around 55 millimeters if you measure from extremity to extremity. However, it does not wear like that, and I'll show you it on my wrist so you can see what I'm talking about. The bracelet on here is an I-link bracelet or an H-link bracelet, whatever you want to call it. And then you have a very typical Yema clasp on here. Unfortunately, it is not fully milled, and there is no on-the-fly micro adjust. However, there are 4 positions of micro adjust that are manual on here. It is a very classic looking clasp on here, and it kind of makes sense for a very classic looking dive watch. When you turn it on its side, you have a very nice line of polish. Everything else is brushed, and you can see there's very good knurling on this bezel. Let's listen to the bezel action. Really good bezel action on here. This gets an acrylic bezel, so I believe it is basically Hesalite as well. On wrist today, I have my Urwerk 103 in white gold. This is just basically a brick of white gold from Urwerk. Just a really interesting, fun watch that I absolutely love wearing. I think it's one of the best looking watches in my collection. I think some people might think this is ugly. I love it. And there is the Yema in blue on my 7.5 inch wrist. It looks fantastic. This is around a 39 millimeter watch with an around 13 millimeter thickness, and you can see that lug to lug does not make a difference on my 7.5-inch wrist, a 45 or 46 millimeter lug to lug. However, the end links do not sit flat, so it does wear slightly larger than that, but you can't tell on my wrist whatsoever. It might bother some people with very small wrists, but I don't think it will be a problem for most. And there is the black dial. This is a very handsome watch on wrist. It definitely looks like a very classic dive watch. Again, you're getting a Sellita SW200 inside, and this is French assembled. Well, there you go. Lume, very bright, very liberally applied to the indices and the hands. There is no Lume on the second hand. Of course, I would like to see Lume on the second hand so that I could see that the watch is working in the dark. But besides that, I think the Lume is pretty good. This watch on a bracelet is $1,090. If you want it on a strap, it's $990. So a very good price. And of course, all of the import duties are already paid for this watch. You're not paying that 39%, so there's no surprises. $990 for it on a strap, $1,090 on the bracelet. And I definitely recommend getting the bracelet for the extra couple of bucks. It's definitely worth it. Tell me what you guys think down in the comment section below. I will put a link to this watch down in the description. Definitely check it out if you are interested. That's really it, guys. Thank you for logging on. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Thanks for logging on, and I will catch you guys in the next video.